Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yep.
I keep checking this fucking audio and, it seems like it's okay most of the time, but then sometimes it's like, hey, nope. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're doing Fire and Ice. I think that was 1983 or 82?
83, yes, it was.
We got sent this by a patron.
Esther
sent this to us and got it on Blu-ray now. I had never seen this movie. I'd seen little clips of it. It looked cool. It looked like something out of a Frazetta painting. So she sent it to us and watched it, and it's a tight little flick. It's good. It's all rotoscope, it was shot on film, and then they did illustrations over it. They're inspired by Frank Frazetta. He did a lot of work for this, but a lot of other people drew it, did all the drawings. All this was hand drawn. This is before computers. Computer animation. So this movie is a work of art, man. It's really good. The idea was to bring like a Frank Frazetta painting to life, and I think it pretty much does that. It's kind of a world, kind of like Conan. It doesn't have the Conan label on it. It's more like something out of like one of those old British films, like People That Time Forgot. It's kind of like that. Cavemen, cave women, barbarians, troglodytes, subhumans, boobs, and dinosaurs, and wizards, sorcerers, and with kind of like this apocalyptic theme, between the power of ice and the power of fire. Pretty cool, actually. Jenny says it had boobs. It did. It looked like the women. The women looked like something out of a Frazetta painting.
Because they were technically.
Yeah.
I mean, he did the character design.
He did the character design.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that they went back and this DVD this Blu-ray had a bunch of extra features, and they showed who was actually playing these roles, and they talked to the director and everything, and they went through like thousands of young starlets to try to find the best ones who looked like these Frazetta paintings and could do it. But when you actually saw who they were, they only looked like the animated versions in the face. They really voluptuized them a lot. But it wasn't like outside human realm, really. You know what I mean? That you would think that out of 1,000 girls, you could probably get one with that figure.
Yeah, I guess you could.
They never did really explain why.
But then you'd need somebody that was like a stunt person. Because they were very physical roles.
Yeah.
But they were, doing
a lot of stunts. Right.
Yeah. A lot of them did their own shit, I think.
Yeah. Like out of the Conan movie, the woman who played Valeria, she was a dancer. And she really did have that physique. That's why she got that role. But she could act too.
Yeah.
You can train a person to act. It doesn't really take that long as long as they have some talent. You can bring it out of them.
I mean, it'd probably be easier to teach somebody to act than to teach them to do all those stunts and dance and stuff like that, because that's much harder. You know what I mean? But so this movie, like we said, it came out in 1983. We got heavy metal too, but I don't think we've done a review of that, or we've talked about it kind of on other things, but I don't think we've done a dedicated one. I don't think so. We should probably do that one of these days.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it, so when we were watching this last night, I could have sworn that I had seen this movie already. But then we were watching it. I was like, you know what? I don't think I did see it. I think I was thinking about Ralph Bakshi's other movie, Wizards, that came out in 1977.
I don't think
because remember, I think we watched that one. Either we watched that one or I don't know. I must have seen it at some point. And I know I've seen like a couple of reviews of it because I think Shitcase Cinema did it, and I think Brandon Tenold might have done it. So, but I know I'm familiar with that one, so I was getting it confused with Fire and Ice, I guess. Even though there's like some crossover, like I said, it's still Ralph Bakshi. He's the same guy that directed it, and it's still like sword and sorcery. And there's even kind of some overlap with character names, because like the bad guy in Fire and Ice is named Necron, and I think there was a character like a robot or something like that was in Wizards that was also named Necron or Necron 99 or something like that. So I think there was like some carryover with names, and I think one of the wizard in Wizards. Or the bad wizard, I think, was named Black Wolf Black Skull, something like that.
What are you talking about? In this movie?
No. In
okay.
Wizards, and then in this one, the hero of the movie, who doesn't seem like the hero at first, but then like later he comes in, and you're like, oh, this guy's the hero. He's named what? Dark Wolf, right? Or
Yeah, Dark Wolf.
something like that. Even though they said his original name, I think, was Death Dealer, which I was like, oh, I like that better.
Well, that was the name of a painting that the
I know.
that Frazetta did. If you don't know who Frazetta is, Frazetta painted that right back there. And that's some people said that's a poster. That's not a poster. That's a print on
canvas.
On canvas itself. And all of his stuff was real heroic, real big dudes, fucking into kind of primal stuff. Even if it was a World War II painting, he had the guys kind of fucking real heroic figures. The women were real voluptuous, really kind of like the body style that I like. A lot of guys like that. And he was a great artist. I mean, when he was working on this, all the other artists, they didn't tell Frank, but all the other artists fucking worshipped him so much. They were so nervous around him that they froze up. They couldn't really.
Yeah, they were like scared to draw anything because they were like, they thought it wouldn't be good enough, right. I guess.
And Frank was kind of like an outstanding guy, real unusual for an artist. I mean, usually artists are aspiring to some kind of beauty, you know what I mean? And they'll paint these beautiful paintings of people and women and dudes. But you looked at them, they weren't much to look at. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times I kind of like they were overcompensating, maybe because they lacked physical beauty in some ways. Not Frank, all right? I'm going to show you what Frank looked like. All right?
What happened?
I'm looking for that painting,
that
picture. This is what Frank looked like, okay? Okay? Frank looked like the guys that he drew, especially when he was young. And he would like take photos of himself, you know what I mean, and kind of like these heroic poses with guns. And he was a real kind of a macho dude, so he just gravitated towards that. He was like a good-looking greaser guy. And so it wasn't one of the kind of situations where, you know, nowadays you might have some, oh, nobody looks like that, or that sexist motherfucker dressing, drawing those women like that. No, he looked like that too. And he had girlfriends and wives that looked like that. He was, you know, that's the way he was. And I kind of admired that in him, that not only did he know how to like paint physical beauty, he tried to become that. He would work out. You know, get big. I like that. You know what I mean? He wasn't taking an easy path, you know, and not all artists are like that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So the story behind this, it's actually like a pretty simple fantasy story, like you said. You have the evil people who live in a place called Ice Peak, and there's a queen named Juliana, and she has a son named Necron, who is also like a sorcerer, like he has the Force kind of. Yeah. And and he can control glaciers and whatnot. And then there's the other the other citadel, which is called, it's not called Fire Peak, it's called Fire, what is it called? Fire something.
I don't know. I don't remember. No, there's just a bunch of crazy names in terms of things. It doesn't really matter. It's a simple story. Really, the whole damn plot of the story is a real simple save the girl and save the world type fucking
Because she
arc.
kidnapped. She keeps getting kidnapped by subhumans and getting away, and then getting kidnapped again and getting away. Yeah, and kidnapped again.
some of the more interesting elements of the story that were originally there were taken out, which I didn't really agree with that. Like, turns out that like Dark Wolf, who's like one of the best characters in there, he's kind of like the primitive caveman version of Batman, and he is a Batman type character. Turns out he was actually the father of Necron, but they cut that out of the movie.
Which is weird. Great. They should have left that in.
Should have left that in.
I'm not really entirely sure why they took that out.
There was a bunch of stuff about Necron's mom that they cut out. There's some stuff where it was good to have it in the movie, but it didn't really serve a big purpose. Like, in one part, the little princess, the little runaway princess, and she starts because she says, it sucks that I'm locked up in here just waiting to get married away to some, you know, buffed out dude and all the men are getting all the glory and women like me just, you know, wait around for these dudes to marry them, you know. Well, she gets her wish and ends up getting going on a great adventure where she gets abducted by by basically troglodytes, these primitives that work.
That just go around going,
yeah. They're kind of like, they couldn't say orcs, you know what I mean? That's all, from Tolkien's world. So they're basically orcs.
They call them subhumans.
They call them subhumans. They got fangs and fucking kind of primitive looking, kind of like Homo erectus or something.
Like they can kind of talk because they do talk to each other, but not they just kind of grunt at each other and just and
they like served cavemen kind of. They served. I guess the evil sorceress made them.
Was that the implication?
Yeah, I think they were made by them. I guess they did shit that was not you couldn't really understand. Like they don't really have any clothes, but they had no problem living in a damn ice castle with fucking blizzards and fucking
walking around in their bare feet.
Walking around bare feet in the snow.
Not getting frostbite.
Yeah, I think they were kind of I think they were a magically created race, kind of like the damn orcs were. Sauron made them.
Maybe.
And the bad guy's kind of like a Sauron type figure.
Although Tigra, the princess, she runs around in the snow and in the forest and everything like that with no shoes and in a teeny bikini like through the whole thing.
It's not even a bikini.
It's like I don't even think I'd call it a bikini. It's just like a tiny.
It's a little triangular patch held to her by dental floss, and two little triangular patches, basically pasties. Which that's in the spirit of a Frazetta painting.
It is.
That's the way a woman's supposed to be dressed.
But all I was thinking the whole time was she's running and climbing and going through the snow and in the forest and everything. I'm like, man, her feet must be killing her. And it's like she's having these scratches all over and everything like that. But she's animated.
And that's what I said. I said that's the way a woman's supposed to be dressed. And it's supposed to fill it out just like that. You know what I mean? And the dude that's drawing it can deliver. I mean, he was the male version of that. So he's got the right to draw that shit.
Although what's interesting about this is that so you have, Necron and his mom, like from Ice Peak, and they're the bad guys, and their fucking glacier is, pushing into the other territory with like the fire people and, the good guys. And so it seems like Necron wipes out most of the people in the, in the fire or whatever. And the only guy that's left pretty much is the king and his son and the daughter. And then this one guy whose name is, what's his name? Larn? Tarn?
I don't remember.
Shit, man. I can't remember anyone's name. Larn. I think it's Larn. The one that looks like He-Man.
The main character.
The main guy, the blonde.
Yeah, I think it was Larn.
I think it's Larn.
Yeah.
And so he like pretends to be dead, but then he wakes up and then he stumbles across Tigra, who has gotten in a completely separate incident, has gotten kidnapped by the subhumans, and they're going to take her back to Ice Peak so she can marry Necron, but he's not interested. Then she keeps escaping, and then she gets recaptured. So there's a whole thing. But then, like about halfway through the movie, this other dude, Darkwolf, shows up, who is obviously the hero of the movie. So you think like Lauren is the hero the whole time, but he doesn't. I mean, he does some heroic shit, but then it's almost kind of like Darkwolf shows up and he's like, hey, hold my beer. I'm like the real hero. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I kind of feel like it's weird because there's a lot of like really cool extra shit on the Blu-ray that Esther sent us. And when they said that in the original version of the script that Darkwolf was supposed to be Necron's dad, that would have made so much more sense, like, to the story. Because as it is now, you're not really sure, like, why Darkwolf is so dead set on
killing this dude.
On killing this dude, because, like, he doesn't really have any motivation, like, to do that other than just being the hero.
A bunch of stuff that was cut out about his mom, too. They should have left all that in there. They made the mistake of trying to shorten it. I think they tried to shorten it, and they tried to dumb it down, I think, for a younger audience. I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
they just didn't want, maybe they didn't want to see a younger audience where the dad kills the son. Maybe they didn't think that was appropriate or something, and a damn psychotic mom who was trying to make a move on the son, there was like incestuous shit that she was doing.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of weird shit going on.
They took that off. I think they were just trying to get a PG rating.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they just thought it was too unsavory.
Too unsavory. Somebody keeps asking about, who was it that asked about it? I think Scott asked about the Mazinga in the background. I don't know which one you're talking about. I got about 20 of them back
Maybe
there.
The one that's next to Grogu.
Yeah, the big ones.
One that's next.
I got two other big ones, a bunch of die-cast ones.
Yeah,
some of them
he's got a shit ton of them.
Some of them are Mazinga Z's. Some of them are Great Mazinga. Another one's like Z-Mazinger, which was my friend made a lot of those. He owns a company that makes them called HL Pro. It's a Japanese company.
Yeah, he said the big.
And then, but if you talk about that one, that was a model. I made that model. It's just blow molded plastic. You got to cut it out of a damn thing where it comes in a damn. Doesn't even come in a box. It came in a plastic bag. And it's blow molded, and you had to cut it all out and paint it and glue it all together. That's one.
Yeah, so the thing.
Big one. Well, there's two big ones. There's three big ones.
Well, like I said, they probably mean the one that's next to Baby Yoda.
Yeah, it's this.
Because that's the one you can see the most. The other one you can't really see him as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can see him like close up. Yeah.
It's a model.
Yeah.
And it moves. And it's got dust on it right now.
Yeah, it's a little dusty.
Yeah, it hasn't moved in a while.
He's just hanging out back there with Grogu.
Yeah. I never did glue the head on it.
Oh.
It's just on a little spike. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to glue the head looking off into another direction. Or maybe I could get some kind of a ball joint to install in there. I didn't want a fixed head.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on the Blu-ray, there's actually this really cool documentary that's like the making of Fire and Ice. And it's not fantastic quality because they said that the only copy of it that they had was Ralph Bakshi's personal copy of it that was like done on VHS, right? But we watched it and it was like fascinating because it went really in depth into the rotoscoping technique and how fucking labor intensive this fucking shit is. Because they shot the entire movie in live action in black and white. They had all the people and they showed that it was just like this big sound stage with like climbing shit and everything like that on it. And they had it all gridded up. Like, so they could, so like for later, like for the animators, so they'll know like where the backgrounds go and, you know, everything is kind of blocked out and whatnot. So they have the actors come in and they had like the outfits, like similar to the outfits that you see the animated ones. Like they, you know, they have the same hair and the same similar kind of, you know, clothes. And they had to do all of this stuff. So they shot the whole movie and then the animators came in and drew over every single frame of the thing.
Yeah, they showed how they do it too.
Yeah, and it was fucking amazing. And then they had like the guys that were like the background painters, and they said they had to do 1,000 paintings. They had to do like 2 or 3 paintings a day, like, you know, to keep up on the schedule or whatever. And you know what's interesting is that a couple of the people that worked on this movie like went on to be super famous later. One of the dudes that was a background painter on this is fucking Thomas Kincaid, painter of light. They even had, this dude is so famous that he even had like, there's a chain of mall stores that sold his artwork. You know what I mean? He did like landscapes and stuff. And he had like books come out and everything. So that guy worked on this movie. The guy that later created Aeon Flux worked on this movie. I think the guy that did Dinotopia, those series of novels, he worked on it too. So there was just kind of all kind of people that would go on to be famous in this. But once I knew what rotoscoping was, but watching them doing it and like realizing that they actually had to shoot the film, they had to make the film essentially twice because they had to film the whole thing, you know, in live action first with the people and the costumes and everything. And then they had to have somebody paint all the backgrounds. And then they had to have somebody meticulously draw every single character, like over every single frame. Yeah. Everyone had to be like the same color. Everyone had to be the same outfits. Everyone had to do, and even though it was like a whole team of people working on it, they all had to be like standardized. Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, an hour's worth of work only yielded like 7 seconds of actual film time.
Yeah.
It took them about a couple hours. I think it was, didn't they say an hour?
Yeah, because they had that one guy that was bringing in each frame and he was like taking a picture of it. And he said, yeah, this sequence will take me an hour to shoot. Yeah. And it's about, I think it was about 5 seconds or 7 seconds or something like that.
They were working in teams, you know what I mean? But a lot of stuff that they did had to be thrown out. It's just like anything else. A lot of it ends up on the cutting room floor. So because it has to be edited into something that makes sense. It's a good little movie. Good movie. It could have been a little bit better story-wise.
It did sag a bit in the middle, I feel like. And, well, it's not so much sag. I just felt like it was a little bit repetitive because Tigra kept getting kidnapped by the subhumans, and then she kept getting away, and then she kept getting kidnapped again, and then so they would just kept fighting him. There's not really, like, a lot of dialogue in this either. It's much more, like, chasing and fighting.
Yeah, and there was a couple of places where some things were kind of like a dead end. Like, Tigra gets... I guess, abducted by this big ogre type thing that takes her back to a little hovel, and there's a damn witch in there. There's like this gorgeous woman who tries to kind of like put the moves on her a little bit, but then she takes a hair sample, and turns out she can find out your history through this hair sample during this ritual.
Like magical DNA.
Yeah. She found out that she was wanted by Necron, which means that she couldn't do whatever she was going to do to her. I think she was going to do something magical to her, or sacrifice her or something. And then she ends up getting killed for it. And then she comes back as a skeleton and asks the hero to avenge her death.
To avenge her death, yeah.
There was something missing. It was like there should have been a little bit more to her story.
Yeah, I felt like that could have been fleshed out a little, because I liked that character. Like, I liked that big ogre. I liked that witch.
Yeah, we didn't get much of her.
And I liked the fact that she came back, like, as a zombie, essentially. I was like, avenge me! And I was like, that's cool. We needed more of that.
Yeah.
We needed more of Dark Wolf and, like, what the hell his deal was, because he was, like, super cool.
Well, I think there was some kind of backstory with that sorcerer and maybe Necron's mom. But we didn't get it.
I think that there was.
But we didn't get it.
It does seem like there was more stuff in this that got like left out.
Right.
Because one of the other extras on the Blu-ray was the guy who played Necron. He didn't do his voice, did he? But he was the body.
Yeah, and the face.
He was the body and the face. And if you see pictures of him, he looked almost exactly like how he was drawn. And he was like he did fencing and stuff like that. So that's why they got people that were stuntmen or dancers or whatever, obviously, because movement was really important. And so they had, like, it was interesting. It wasn't really an interview with him, but he had like a diary that he had written at the time that he was working on the movie. So it has him like reading all the stuff. And so it was his thing where he was saying all of the stuff that was left out about Dark Wolf being Necron's dad, and there being these whole other scenes about, whole other lines and stuff that were left out. And they said too that the woman that ended up playing Juliana, like in the final, like the evil queen, whatever, like in the final movie, they're like, that wasn't the first woman that played her. They said because the first time they shot the live action, it was a different actress. And then when they decided later on, I guess pretty late in the production, that either they couldn't get that woman back for post-production stuff, or they decided they didn't like the way it was working out. So they had to get a whole nother actress in there, and they had to redraw like all of her shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Monkey Butt Toenail says, yes, Dark Wolf, Necron, and his mom seemed really sexually close. Well, no, Dark Wolf was Necron's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he was hitting Juliana at some point. Maybe.
Which one? The other.
The evil sorceress.
The one with the red hair?
Necron's mom. No, that one. No, I don't. That was just a random woman.
Well, I know that, but I'm thinking there was some kind of relationship between that woman and Necron's mom. Had to have been, because she knew about Necron.
Well, but everybody knew about Necron because he was like the main bad guy.
But for some reason, she didn't want to like get in trouble for keeping her. I think there was something missing.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing about it, is like, I feel like that's one criticism, because like I said, this movie's gorgeous, the rotoscoping's amazing, like the work that went into it is amazing, but the only criticism that I would give it is that it should have focused more on like story elements like that, like backstory, more about Dark Wolf, more about that mysterious witch and the troll in the woods, more about Necron's relationship, more with Juliana, and less of just kind of running away from subhumans, because I feel like a lot of it was just running away from subhumans.
They're living in a little bitty house, all right, this troll and this beautiful sorceress, and she's dressed in finery. What the hell's she doing in this little bitty house? You didn't notice that?
Yeah.
What is she doing out there? So there's a reason why she was out there. She'd been banished or something. Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of leaves you wanting more, because you're like, well, what's the deal with that? That should have been like expanded out. It's like maybe they didn't want the movie to be too long or whatever, because it's pretty short. It's only like an hour and 20 something minutes. But I do kind of feel like maybe they should have shifted the focus less from like the chase scenes, because there was a lot of that. There was a lot of them running and fighting subhumans and occasionally dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like you said, you get this cool thing like with the witch and everything, and she was just in one scene. And you're just like, well, wait, what does she have to do with anybody and why?
Yeah, and she's obviously important the way she's dressed.
Yeah.
And she's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so I wanted to know like what the deal was, and and then there was the whole thing too with like Darkwolf, because like I said, you go through half the movie thinking like Larn is like the hero because he's the only survivor of the fire people or whatever, and then Darkwolf shows up and is basically like steals that dude's thunder and he starts kicking ass.
Well, yeah, it was just the kind of situation I think kind of like Luke and Han Solo.
Yeah, okay. It was kind of
Larn
like that.
was the young, up-and-coming kind of guy, all right? He didn't really know how to be a hero, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple times where he didn't seem interested in going back and getting damn Princess Tigra.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, fuck her.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. And Darkwolf says, you go back and get her. That kind of, it's like, all right. So it was actually...
If I have to.
Yeah, and then Darkwolf, he turns out, it is kind of a... he's old enough to be Larn's dad.
Yeah.
Okay? He's in his early 50s or late 40s. So he's kind of being the mentor, almost kind of like in the way Han Solo was the mentor to Luke.
Yeah, a little bit older and more experienced.
Yeah. Right. And he's the one that has the real grudge. It's a blood grudge, it turns out, but they cut that out.
Yeah.
He had it's almost kind of like King Arthur and what's his name, Mordred, his son Mordred.
Yeah.
Remember, he had to kill his own son to purge that evil from the world. So that might have been taken from the Excalibur.
Yeah, maybe that's what.
So he was kind of like a cross between King Arthur and Batman.
Yeah.
He's like a prehistoric Batman.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Batman.
He looks like Batman.
He's got that thing with the little thing and.
Got a wolf mask on, and just you see his eyes are just green sockets,
and they glow
like Batman.
Yeah, like Batman.
Just like Batman, and he's got that damn Batman voice. Actually, he sounds Native American. He's kind of like more like something you'd see from like Lakota Nation or something. He has a slight Native American type Hollywood style accent. He's cool. Actually, he's the best character in the movie, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it, too, is that there's another thing, too, with Darkwolf, is that at one point, Larn and Tigra are farting around in those ruins, and in those ruins, there's like a sculpture thing, like a rock thing on the wall that looks like Darkwolf's face. With his
probably was.
That's what I mean. So it's like, see, I want to know what the fuck was up with that guy. Did anybody write any fanfic that was like expanding on this shit, or do we know?
He was involved with the mom somehow. The mom went bad. Well, that's kind of what happened to King Arthur, except it was in Excalibur, it was his sister that seduced him.
Yeah. Through
some kind of magical thing where she made herself look like his wife.
Yeah.
So, and then so that might have been a takeoff on that. Maybe Necron's mom disguised herself as Darkwolf's wife, got pregnant by her, and he had to go out there and fucking do a late-term abortion. Do very late-term abortion.
I gotta say, I kind of love Necron's character, too. He was totally over the top and wacko, but I thought that kind of worked. Yeah. I kept making jokes about him the whole time because he was like, he's just kind of like sitting on the throne the whole time. Like, not the toilet. He was sitting on the actual throne. And he's just kind of just sitting there going like that. And I was just kind of like, he's wondering where he left his pants, I guess. Thank you, Ken.
Ken Fetter sent a $40 super chat like a G. Thank you very much.
Dinner and a martini on me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Been a hell of a week for about a month now. Miss you and love you. Oh,
love
we
you
love
too,
you
Ken.
too, man. Somebody mentioned earlier that there's actually a modern rotoscope movie from Japan. So I'll have to look that up because I really do like that animation. There are people still doing it. It's just very time consuming, obviously, because like I said, you have to make the movie essentially twice. Dean says, "Hey Jenny, what happened to that fantastic red hair?" It's just a wig.
That's in the closet.
So the hair's in the closet.
I got one.
I have lots of different colors. Oh, he got one of his.
I got one of mine. I'm gonna bust that shit out when I'm ready.
One of these days, maybe on the Wednesday sidetrack show, you can put it on. It's
a straight up Glenn Danzig wig.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
It's actually good for Glenn Danzig or Ozzy Osbourne. It's just black.
Pretty
red
much
part.
any, or
Any
you
heavy
could
metal
be,
dude.
yeah, you could be any dude from like a goth metal band,
Or Conan or some
or
shit.
Conan would work for that too.
Yeah. Well, actually, Conan had bangs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Conan's hair was kind of fluffier and kind of brown, right? It wasn't black.
I have to go back.
Well, I mean, in the movie,
in the drawings.
in the drawings, he had black
yeah,
hair.
Yeah, he kind of had a Prince Valiant thing going, where his bangs it was kind of short. And
Yeah,
in some
that's
of the
right.
comic books, yeah.
Prince Valiant or He-Man.
Yeah. But then the other one I got, you guys are really gonna laugh on that one, man. It's not here yet.
I can't wait until that one arrives.
That's my K-pop fucking wig.
I'm just gonna laugh my ass off with this. I'm like, oh boy,
It
I
is
can't wait.
effeminate as fuck.
That's gonna be so
It's
awesome.
effeminate as
That's gonna
fuck.
be so awesome.
It's fluffy as shit. And it fucking does all
Well,
this shit.
okay,
It's
so
fucking-
when you wear that one,
that's gonna be some special occasion shit.
yeah, why not? Yeah, that'll definitely have to be special occasion shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, you need to wear. I don't know if it will still go over your big massive arms now, but remember you had that kind of gothy shirt that was kind of like silky and kind of shiny. Didn't you have the black kind of shiny?
Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff
Oh,
like that.
gothic shirt.
I can't really fit in all
That's
that
what I
stuff
was
anymore.
gonna say. I thought
My
that.
chest and arms expanded fucking several inches, many inches, since I went back into training.
many inches.
Yeah.
Dean says, did I read House of Leaves? I did indeed. And actually, I'm going to be, at some point this year, I've told myself, I'm going to sit down and commit to rereading that bitch. And I'm going to do a book review on it. But like I said, that's one that one needs a long time to like digest, because that's like a super complicated book, and you really kind of have to get immersed in it. I loved it the first time I read it, but I've been meaning to reread it. I just haven't had time to. But yeah. Yeah, Tom Swole.
Yeah, I'll swell.
Yeah, Stop Prop says the Japanese one is called Ongaku, Our Sound. And it took them 7 years to make it. And it's also rotoscoped. I've seen other ones like that, but like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I knew how they did it, but I didn't realize how fucking, God, that would just take I wouldn't have the patience to do that kind of shit. I know they do it in teams, but it's like, in a way that seems kind of harder, because it's hard to get consistency across however many people are working on the shit. I mean, they all had to have, the color grading, and then they showed the one woman that was she was painted the cells, she was on the team that painted the cells, and she's like, yeah, we have all the, codes of what colors you're supposed to use for everything. She's like, but we're never entirely sure how the director's going to want to play this scene, like what the lighting is going to be like. So we have to do like 3 different versions of every single one. She's like, here's one where the lighting is more sunlight, and here's more where it's dark and they're silhouetted. And here's where I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, how would you keep track of all that shit?
Yeah, Pat, watch it. Pat says, man, I should have watched this before we discussed it. Yeah, go ahead and watch it.
It's
You'll
actually,
like it.
you can, I think it's on Tubi if you want to
Yeah.
watch it for free.
Okay, look, here's the deal. You guys know I'm a big fan of Conan 1. I think that is the movie. All right. I love everything about that movie. The score, the philosophy behind it, just everything. Like, I think my favorite movie, really, right up there with that, would be Predator 1. Okay. And then after that, maybe like Alien 2. But you guys know that's my ranking. All right. I even got Commando up there. And Commando is the quintessential 80s action shoot 'em up. I mean, watching Commando is like watching a video game, a really good video game. I'm going to put Conan at the very top. Fire and Ice is not as good as Conan, but it's a Conan-like experience that I want to see it a couple more times, I think, give it a rest. It's the same kind of rotoscope artistry that went on in the animated version of what was the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, it's the same director. Ralph
Same
Bakshi.
director. It feels a lot like Lord of the Rings, which I want to see that one again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I want to see that Hobbit he did. I used to love that when I was a kid.
You
I
talking about
saw
the
that a million
rotoscope
times.
Hobbit?
Well, the one that Ralph Bakshi did in the 70s. He did
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings too, but he also did the Hobbit. Like as a
Yeah,
separate
and he
movie.
also he did 3 of them though, didn't he? And they had the songs in it.
Yeah. Well, he did
Yeah.
the Hobbit,
Yeah,
and then I think he just did Lord of the Rings as one movie,
one movie.
and then
Yeah,
the
but
Hobbit was one
book.
movie.
It was only one book of Lord of the Rings.
Well, yeah, I know that.
it
but
never
I'm saying-
ends.
Yeah.
They don't do. Yeah, but it's because it's just one of those books. It's just one of the books.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a long time. But the thing is, though, is that the Hobbit I didn't think was done by the same. It didn't. The art didn't look the same.
Well, some of the animators might have been different, but it was the same director.
Okay.
But I remember, you know what? It's like, it's weird because I saw both of those when I was growing up, and for some reason I liked The Hobbit better. I even liked the Hobbit book better than Lord of the Rings.
I remember liking both of those animated movies.
Yeah, they were both good, but I liked the
And
Hobbit
then there was the third one came out, and it looked like the first one. Same kind of art.
Yeah.
It had songs in it and everything. And I remember enjoying it also. They showed it on television. I want to get them all.
I mean,
but Lord of the Rings, the animated one looked the most like reality. It was rotoscoped.
Yeah.
Don't you remember?
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, it looked really good.
I remember The Hobbit better than the Lord of the Rings.
Okay, the Lord of the Rings looked better. They had really cool orcs. You could tell that they were just
there were cool orcs in Hobbit too. Stop Prop says, did he do Watership Down? I don't think that was Ralph Bakshi. I think that was I thought that was Don Bluth, but I could be wrong about that. It might be somebody else entirely. Like Don Bluth was the same guy that did like Secret of Nim and all that kind of stuff. But it's like when we were watching Fire and Ice last night, I was like, man, this made me want to rewatch Ralph Bakshi's The Hobbit, and it also made me want to watch Rock and Roll, that Canadian animated movie from Nelvana.
Connor Vatsalon's in there. Yeah, man, go ahead and see it. You'll like it. It's a great movie. It's good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not
it's not long.
It's not as good as Heavy Metal.
No.
And it's not as good as some of Ralph Bakshi's other ones.
Yeah.
But just knowing the effort that it took to make this shit is just like mind blowing.
It's still good. It's still good. And it's kind of, they're just trying to bring you some Frank Frazetta like energy.
Yeah.
And it works at that. I think the story originally was better, and they edited a lot of stuff out. I would have liked to have seen an extended version of it with all those elements still in there. It'd probably be even better.
Yeah, because that's kind of the criticism that I would give, is that it needed more expansion on some of the like really fascinating parts of the story and less of like the chasing and fighting. Yeah,
I can tell stuff's missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DJ Maniac says, I think Watership Down and the Plague Dogs were the same studio. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. I really need to rewatch the Plague Dogs too, and I think that's also on Tubi. Ken says American Pop. That was another Ralph Bakshi movie, which I think I saw that once when I was a kid, and I don't remember anything about it. Pat's talking about Rock and Roll, a great movie with a great soundtrack. I agree. I saw it a zillion times when I was growing up. If you haven't seen it, like I said, it's Canadian and it's animated, and it's about a rock star. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the $10 super chat, man. These are all high rollers on here today. And to answer Venom's question, I like samurai movies. Used to see, I've watched a bunch of them. I was really big into Zatoichi. I've seen a lot of the Zatoichi movies, especially the old ones. Saw some of the Kurosawas, and that's about it.
Yeah,
they're good. I also have Lone Wolf and Cub. I got the Criterion collection. I think it's 4 movies. Really good.
6 movies.
6 movies? Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, the big 7.
I gotta go back and see those again. Lone Wolf and Cub was the original fucking Mandalorian. Mandalorian, it just feels like Lone Wolf and Cub.
Well, yeah. Well, you're not the only person that said that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure
I think people have admitted that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they said that's where they got the idea from.
Yeah.
Because just like an old battle hardened warrior, like having to carry a little baby around.
Baby in a baby cart.
Baby in a baby cart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex says, I think Rastan was based on Fire and Ice. Not really. I just love bringing up Rastan. Yeah. Someone needs to get butt horked. Yeah. Mandalorian is Lone Wolf and Cub, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's the same thing. Somebody asked me to review House of the Devil, which I will get to eventually. I've seen that a couple times, and I also really love that movie, so I will get to that too. And so anything else you would like to say about Fire and Ice?
No, that's it.
Okay, like I said, we got the Blu-ray from Esther, so thank you very much, Esther. But if you want to watch it, I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi for free, and it's probably on other streaming services.
Yeah, Pat, I've seen the Corman cut of Lone Wolf and Cub. What'd they call it? They called it.
Yeah. What was the name of it?
Shogun Assassin.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun too. It's just fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
It's just
I just don't remember it.
An hour and a half of insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is this movie about? It makes sense, but most of the story is cut out. just samurai fights and fucking being attacked by crazy ninja girls and
Well, yeah, 'cause, like, who needs a story as long as you just have like people fighting all the time? Oh, thank you, Stop Prop. I have to drink today. Tomorrow is my dry birthday.
Stop propaganda. Send a super chat of $20. All these damn high rollers on it. I can't understand what's going on.
Oh my goodness!
All this money coming out of nowhere.
Kanavatsalon, well, it's not coming out of nowhere. Yeah. No, it's coming from our lovely fans. Kanavatsalon says, "I've never seen The Deer Hunter. Is it good?" Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, one of the really good Vietnam movies.
Yeah, it's
not up there with Apocalypse Now, but close.
Yeah.
It's different.
I remember watching it. It's like it'll probably like bum you out big time, but it's I don't know. But it's really, really good. It's really, really worth watching.
Yeah, mentioning that one makes me want to see that other there was another real good Christopher Walken war movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. He plays a mercenary for hire. It was called Dogs of War.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he infiltrates inside this African country as an ornithologist, a guy who studied birds, I think.
Yeah.
And that's his cover. And he goes in there and does a recon, gets fucking captured, thrown into prison, but he eventually gets out and goes back in there and fucks everybody up by himself with some secret fucking grenade launcher.
Rambo shit.
Some Rambo shit. Yeah, pretty cool. I haven't seen it in forever though.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Takashi Miike is great at making samurai movies. 13 Assassins is amazing. I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's really good. Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to also say happy birthday up there to Stop Prop because he said it was his birthday. Well, he said it was his dry birthday, I'm assuming. So, drink today. Why not? Yeah. I'm probably going to have a drink. I had one drink last night while we were watching Fire and Ice, but I might have another one tonight because we got to watch a couple movies tonight too because we need one to talk about tomorrow, which I don't know. What are we going to talk about tomorrow?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. We got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And that we're behind on. All right. So we've been going for almost 50 minutes. So I guess we can shut it down for the day. So thank you everybody that came by. Thank you everybody for your super chats.
That's right. Generous super chats today.
I know. Wow.
You guys are welcome to this. You guys are welcome to the chat room at any time.
Right. All right. So have a good rest of your weekend, you guys, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.